Okay, so this is probably going to be my last video about the DRZ for a little while at least. I'm actually moving to a new city tomorrow and leaving the DRZ behind right when it's almost fully rebuilt, but not quite there. That's okay, I'll come back and finish the job. I almost had it running except for one little thing, the water pump. So I got a water pump rebuild kit, it's Hot Rod's rebuild kit for that, and went in, took it all apart. This is the, oh look, hey, get out of there, you silly kitten. This is part of the ceramic water pump seal. And this goes, okay, I need to get this, get out of here, silly kitty. So this piece, this ceramic piece, goes and rides up against, there's the impeller, and there's the other ceramic piece that's white. Here's the old one, and it has this little rubber thing on the back. They're two different pieces. And what the seal that people do for the temporary fix or the preventative fix or whatever that you find on the forums all the time is they take RTV sealant and they put RTV sealant on the back of this thing, not on the side where this ceramic piece goes, but on the back, which then fits into the impeller. And I've already done that. This seal is wedged right in there and held with the RTV, so that's already done. This is the old one, which didn't have that. So what happened was, in this piece right there, there's the oil seal, and then there's two bearings, and I also replaced the bearings and oil seal because I had new ones as well. And then there's this spring-loaded mechanism, right? It's been damaged when I took it out, but it has the other ceramic piece on the other side. That fits into here, and this gets tapped in all the way around to make a watertight seal. This, like, where this metal piece fits in. And what I did, which fucked it up, was I put a socket over it, kind of like that, and just kind of hammered it down, because I didn't realize that this piece was even ceramic at the time, or how fragile it was or anything. And so I fucked up the second one. This is the old one. It had a crack and was broken already, but I broke the new one when I was installing it, because I didn't realize. This is the new one right there. You can't really see it, but it has a tiny, tiny chip taken out of it. That was enough. So when the ceramic seal has failed, and you have a tiny little chip taken out of it, there's a little hole, right here, actually, that is the emergency drain hole for your radiator fluid. So if the ceramic seal fails, to prevent the radiator fluid mixing with your oil, it'll drain out of there, and then it'll leak out from below your your water pump. And that's just a good thing to have right there. Otherwise, it'll be mixing with your oil. So it's really frustrating putting the clutch cover on and putting it all together, and then it just leaks when I put radiator fluid in, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? So eventually I figured out I fucked that up. Oh, look at this kitty. Yeah, so I ordered a new piece with the little spring-loaded mechanism and everything in there, but that won't be here for 3 days, and I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so that really sucks. Another thing I did, you'll notice this is different than all the others. It's got a 10 millimeter head on it, but still an 8 millimeter thread. When it was leaking, I was like, oh, I can just crank this down further, and that should fix it. But no, I just snapped a bolt in there. Luckily, I was able to pull the whole clutch cover off, and a little bit of the threads was still sticking through. So I was able to grab that with a vice grip and pull the whole thing through. Otherwise, I would have had to get a screw extractor or a bolt extractor, drill it out and do it that way, which would have been a whole nother shitty job. All these seals right here are the old ones, old O-rings, but I'm going to keep those and put them in a kit, because if my water pump ever has one of those seals fail, these are still fine. Like, yes, they're old and they're used, but it's still a seal. I'd prefer putting this in than one that had broken or failed or whatever. So I'm definitely keeping all those little bits. Yeah, what else? So yeah, that's the water pump for you. So when you rebuild it, the trick is, when you're tapping this piece in, this piece right here, when this goes in there, get a drift or something and tap around the edge and just totally avoid this black piece. Just don't touch it, don't fuck it up at all. One tiny little chip on there and your water pump is going to leak through this hole, which it's designed to do if anything in there fails. But it's just really annoying. I was so stoked to go ride it. So I got it started, so I didn't fuck up the valve clearances or the shims or anything. I'm gonna combine that video into this one, or maybe I'll post it after or something, or before, whatever. When I first started it, like I hit the start button over here, and there was like a loud electrical pop, and I was like, oh god, what the hell did I do? And then it just made the clicking noise that the starter makes when the battery's dead. So I just was like, oh, maybe the battery's dead, what? But I was able to kickstart it, and it kickstarted just fine. But here's the reason it made that electrical pop. But luckily my electrical system is fine and everything. So right here, this big piece is a starter